Good morning, YouTube. I told y'all we were going to be riding this weekend, and thank the good Lord for some nice blue skies, and thank Mother Nature for keeping the rain and bad weather away, because we are out riding. Yes, indeed. Cue the intro. Well, this morning we have the Irish gig ride coming up. This ride was canceled from last week, selfishly I'm kind of glad it was canceled, because last week I was gone. I was in Vegas. We had a really good time there. Wife and I took our baby girl to Vegas to celebrate her 21st birthday, so we spoiled her a little bit there. But sometimes you have to do that, you know. But looking forward to our ride this morning. I'm almost here at the Wawa where the chapter gathers up. I'm gonna fill up my gas tank. We've got a little over 200 miles we're gonna be riding today. And yes indeed, we are gonna be out there. We are on the road this morning. We've got the Irish gig ride that we're on today. I think I stated that earlier. We're going to be going to an Irish pub in Richmond, and historical fact about that pub: the wood used to build it actually came from Ireland, at least some of it, from what I understand. And that place has been there for about 40 years, and no surprise, they are known for their corned beef and cabbage. So whoever's riding the sweep today, that's going to be behind us after we've got 13 bikes, probably most of us going to be having that corned beef and cabbage. Woo! You don't want to be at the back of the group. But anyway, it is a nice day today. And we're going to be coming up, we're going to be riding through taking the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. A lot of times when we head on the peninsula, we'll take some back roads, but today we're going to go through the tunnel. And going through that tunnel is sort of depending on what time of day anyway, it can be rolling the dice, because I don't know why people go through there and then they slow down and traffic gets backed up. It's ridiculous. Instead of just moving through the tunnel just like you would any other road. It's really not that hard, but some folks just make it difficult for whatever reason. The good news is that they're doing a bunch of construction up here. They're going to be extending the tunnel, or adding 2 more actually, and widening the lanes up here. And you'll see it. I'll turn y'all back on when we get up here, if I don't just keep it on for the first part of this ride. But that's going to alleviate a lot of the congestion that's through here during those peak hours. Honestly, I would like to come to the peninsula a lot more, the Williamsburg area, but it's just no, I don't want to deal with the tunnel. We do not like dealing with that tunnel traffic at all, and that's the main thing that keeps us from coming up that way. But as you're going to see during this ride, it is some beautiful areas there, great roads to ride that we typically go on. And yeah, it's not bad at all. An alternate route that we usually will take is the ferry, and there'll be a ride coming up soon, I'm pretty sure, where we'll be on the ferry. And actually, I've got a video up of us taking the ferry across the James River Ferry from Williamsburg back to the Hampton Roads area. So yeah, yep. And we can see some of the construction right here where they are really working on these roads. But glad to be out and riding today. Yesterday we had a really good scavenger hunt ride. That was a fun ride, well put on. The weather held up nicely. We only had a small sprinkle coming back to Virginia, but overall it wasn't bad at all. So I got back from that ride, and then we went to see John Wick 4. And if you're not doing anything to close out the weekend and you want to go check out a movie, I would recommend John Wick 4. If you're a fan of The Matrix and Constantine and all of the other Keanu Reeves movies, you'll like John Wick. It is just like the I'm not going to spoil it, but I'll say this. It's kind of the obvious. It's going to be pretty much like the other John Wick movies. He kills about 10,000 people, literally, in this movie. And he does it all with a pistol and about 100 rounds. Go figure. So if you want to see 10,000 people get killed by John Wick with 100 rounds and a 9mm pistol, go check out John Wick 4. You won't be disappointed. Y'all take a look at the bay. This is the Chesapeake Bay. That water is actually glass this morning. Holy smokes, that is a sailor's delight right there. Makes this retired sailor very proud to have served out there. You know, speaking of serving out there, I don't know if we have any veterans that watch the channel, but I served almost 24 years in the Navy, and during that time I probably was deployed, I don't know, a lot of deployments, but my sea tours were some of my better tours. I've always enjoyed being out at sea. It's tough being away from family, don't get me wrong, but it's just something about taking a warship out to sea. And if you want to talk about realizing some power, hitting the tunnel right now, if you want to talk about hitting some power and understanding Mother Nature, the sea can be relentless. It absolutely can. It can be unforgiving just as quickly as it can be a beautiful sight to behold. One minute you have nice calm seas, the next minute you've got an aircraft carrier being rocked back and forth, and that's just the carrier. I was on a DDG also, guided missile destroyer, much smaller ship than the carrier, and this was in, I want to say in 2000. We went up to the North Atlantic, up towards Iceland, and let me tell you, there was gale force winds, and the ship would rise with the wave and then smack down back into that water. And I mean, it was like partially just pretty much partially submerged at that time. A sight to behold. Yeah, I hope y'all can hear the bikes rumbling through the tunnel. I'm gonna give it a couple revs here before we get out of here. Oh yeah, there we go. They're waking him up. Like a kid in the candy store, we sometimes do that going through the tunnel. Keeps the cages alert. Look at there. All right, thanks for riding with me today. I will turn y'all back on in a little bit. Out. Welcome back, folks. it has been a fun ride so far. Enjoying some of the scenery here on our ride. It's kind of one of those things that when you're on a bike, you can really appreciate just being out a little bit. I know when I'm in my truck or in a regular vehicle, I'm just kind of just driving, you know what I mean? But when I'm on a bike, I kind of take a little bit more time to look around and enjoy some of the scenery, take in some of the smells and all that good stuff of just being outside and riding. It's just all part of it for me. We had a short stop for a break at the gas station there. Took a little restroom break, and the folks that needed gas got gas, and now we have about an hour before we get to Richmond to our lunch stop there. One thing I didn't mention in the other video, about 3 weeks ago or so, I got some Ohlings rear shocks put on. I put on the 772s, and you know, you hear these guys on the forum all the time saying that it makes a difference in how the bike rides. And, oh, I can immediately tell, it's so smooth, it's so great. Well, guess what? They aren't lying. They are not lying at all. The difference that I felt in my bike since putting those shocks on has been night and day. Really smoothed it out. And it's not that it was bad before, not at all. But when you're touring and you're doing some nice riding and you're hitting these back roads and stuff, you might as well throw on some quality shocks, and there is definitely a difference in the ride for sure. It is a whole lot smoother than what it was before. And one thing that I worried about was that I thought it would completely change the handling of my bike. I went from the stock shocks that were on here. I want to say those were 12s, whereas I put 13s on this one, just for a little more travel and everything. And then I ride with the passenger a lot. My wife rides with me quite often, and these shocks are nice. Feel really good. They feel really good on the bike. Skip a waypoint here. So I would definitely recommend the Ohlings. And actually, I called up Smarty, Suspended by Smarty, I think is the company. I gave him a call, and he actually was on vacation down in Mexico, and he picked up. We talked for about 20 minutes, and he was able to dial in exactly my riding style and what I wanted. And a week later, he had the shocks to my front door. Would highly recommend them. No issues whatsoever. And they were already set up to my weight, my passenger's weight, basically it's set up for my riding style, the type of riding that I do. And they really feel good. Really feel good. Another thing other than just the ride being smoother, excuse me, is I notice even sitting in my seat feels a little better, I guess. And I didn't think about that one, but I guess if your suspension is dialed in like it should be, you know, the quality of the feel of the ride as a whole is going to be a lot better. So I think what I'm going to do is probably, maybe this winter, I'll put on the Ohlings in the front. I do want the front done now because the rear feels so good. So if any of you have had any suspension work done, and I know there's some other good ones out there, Legends, Pro Action, some of the others, Wilbur's I think, but Fox. But I think anything is going to be an upgrade over what you're going to have on your stock Harley. But if you're thinking about getting some shocks, I would have no problem recommending getting some Holdings on the bike. My bike feels really nice since I've installed those. But yeah, so we're having a really good ride today. Like I said, we got about an hour before we hit Richmond. We're just gonna rumble on down the highway a little bit, and I will turn you all on once we get closer to Richmond. All right, we have just rolled into the outskirts of Richmond, and we're close to our destination. Look like we only got about maybe 7 minutes or so before we get there. You can probably see some of the, you probably can't see the taller buildings right now. Those guys that got some ultimate frisbee preps going on right there. He launched that thing. Good gosh. Oh, and a couple more. How about that? I don't know if any of you have been to Richmond before. It's a pretty cool city. Not too different from most. You got some of the artsy type of districts there. Of course, you got the school and things like that. But good thing. This place right up ahead is Poe's Pub. We've had lunch here before. Nice little spot. It's themed after Edgar Allan Poe. There we go. Now you can see some more of Richmond here. Roads suck. They're doing some, what do they call it, milling or whatever. I don't know if you can see it or not. But there's a ton of manholes sticking up everywhere, but we're working it all out. We're just gonna weave through and make it work. Poe's Museum, like I said, very artsy type of place. Lots of murals like the one there. It's actually a pretty cool one. They had another mural back there. I didn't have my GoPro on, with John Lewis on there. It's pretty cool. Looks like we're about 3 minutes away from our stop. This area actually reminds me a little bit of Charlotte, and maybe because that Bank of America. I think Charlotte has that big Bank of America right there before you get to the stadium. What's up, YouTube? We are back. Had a great lunch stop at the Irish pub. I will throw some pictures in the video so you can see what we were chowing down on. I had a really good corned beef and cabbage. Pretty outstanding. And I brought my wife back some shepherd's pie that looked really good that another member was eating. But anyway, it's a good lunch stop. We are going to race back to Hampton Roads. There is some heavy rains that are forecast that should be meeting us there around the time that we get there. So we didn't take the route that we were originally going to take. We're going to take some more back roads and head back, but we jumped on the interstate because we need to get in the wind and boogity back before we get caught in a drench out here. And ironically, I did not put my rain gear in the bike, so I'll probably get a little wet, but that's okay. I'd rather get wet closer to home than being an hour or so away. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the ride today. I'm going to be putting up the GoPro at our gas stop. I don't want this thing to get wet. And hope to bring you some more videos soon. Definitely next week. I'll get home, start uploading what I already have. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be well and have an awesome day.